asking every city of this country, where does your water come from and where does your shit go? And it was an impossible task to be able to put together, because not only did cities not know where their water came from in most cases and where it came from in the past, but they definitely had no maths as far as excreta and sewage was concerned. So putting together that 2-volume report, both in terms of what we found and then a city-by-city analysis, told us that it was really not about water supply. Water supply is linked to sewage, as you know. 80% of what comes into a house leaves it in terms of sewage. But it was really about the sewage maths of this country that we needed to understand better. Then a few years later, Arne, who's sitting here, came by and introduced us to a new tool, which we had not known, which was shit flow diagrams, which helped us to do the same mapping of city by city in terms of a more diagrammatic, schematic diagram in terms of where does the city's waste go. And that's the learning from that, which we did city by city. The picture evolved in terms of the fact that so much of the waste was on site. So many people were unconnected to the sewage system. And that then opened up a completely new understanding in terms of what we needed to do. And I think today when we meet versus when we were in 2019, we have come a long way. And I will talk about it in my presentation. But this was only a very long introduction to warm you all up and to welcome you to this campus and to tell you that for us, these next 2 days, 3 days, are not about a conference. They're about a community building exercise. They're about understanding each other in terms of where we are on our journey for inclusive, affordable sanitation, which is sustainable. And we use this to go back and to do a lot more practice and a lot more policy changes, because that's really where we are. So that's what this meeting for the next 2 days is. And the aim, the way we have designed it, Deepinder is here. He is the chief architect of this meeting, putting this together with his colleagues. But the way we've designed it is that today, of course, is a day when we hope that we will raise the profile of what's happening. We then want to get really in depth in terms of some of the hard issues that we think need to be understood. One of the big issues is the issue of regulation, the issue of what do you do with sludge, the issue of how do you do reuse, the issue of what is the best urban-rural convergence that you could have with this waste. So it's really something that I think these next 2 days are going to help us to understand both the challenges, but most importantly, the solutions and the way ahead. But as I can see, the minister has joined us, and I would like to very warmly welcome him. Hardeepji, thank you so much for being with us. This is a community which is a community which is completely in the throes and works on water, works on sanitation, knows excreta very well. And for us, having you here is an important time for us to know that there is huge leadership in this to help us to have both the imagination and the courage to do things differently. Because what we have found is that in the way we have been managing our sewage, our rivers are not getting cleaned. And this new direction that your ministry has taken now will help us to do things differently. So welcome, and thank you so much for joining what we have called the Policy and Practice Forum 2023. You will see the way we have titled it. It says it's inclusive and affordable water and sanitation solutions for a climate resilient world. And what we are really here to do is to understand the paradigm shift that the global South is leading, which will help the rest of the world also understand how can sewage management become both sustainable but also affordable? So welcome, and the floor is yours to inaugurate this meeting, and we are looking forward to hearing you.
Thank you very much, Sunita ji. Am I audible?
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you, Sunita ji. It's more important from my point of view, from my personal point of view, from the point of view of the work that my ministry is doing, for me to be present and for us to gain valuable insights from your work. So let me start by expressing my personal sense of regret that I'm not with you physically. I would have preferred that, but without blaming my
just 1 minute, Hardeep ji. Just 1 minute. Sorry, there's an echo. I think we have too many systems working. Just give us 1 minute. We are trying to be extra sophisticated here. I think it's the live streaming which is creating a problem. Can we switch off the live streaming, please? We were also streaming this live, Hardeep ji, because there's been a lot of interest in this. So there's too many systems working here. So please forgive me. I think we're just switching off the live streaming. Can we switch off the live streaming quickly, people? Done? Please go ahead. Hardeep ji, we will bear with you.
Thank you very much.
We know you're very short of time.
No, thank you very much. I was just saying that I would have very much preferred to be with you personally. And I am not blaming my colleagues who drop my program, but they also have a difficult task. But I'm somehow between the work and the political engagements these days, a little pressed for time. So let me start by saying thank you very much, Sunita ji, for having me. I'm told that the Director General of the National Mission for Clean Ganga, Shri G. Ashok Kumar ji, has joined us. The Principal Secretary, Housing and Urban Development of Government of Orissa. Thank you all very much. Esteemed dignitaries, researchers, representatives, and practitioners from international organizations and civil society and friends, I'm delighted to be invited to the inaugural session of the Policy and Practice Forum 2023. Let me start by expressing my deep appreciation for the Center for Science and Environment, CSE, for setting up this unique forum to discuss and disseminate best practices around inclusive and affordable water and sanitation solutions. I'm also glad to see that this has received such enthusiastic participation from practitioners, researchers, and innovators across the industry. Discourse around water and sanitation has assumed greater significance in the last few years. 2023 marked the first major conference of the UN dedicated to water since 1977, when the last time a major UN-level conference was held on the subject of water. Recently, governments, communities, and organizations across the world have been collaborating to find solutions to the water crisis by augmenting